Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. I'm Joanna Peña-Bickley, and this is 5 Things for July 30th.
The last few days have been like a tech-powered midsummer's daydream. This week we're covering off on Glass Edition, Enterprise Edition, HomeCourt, the DARPA Electronic Resurgence Initiative, also known as ERI, General Magic's impact on how we use technology today, and the Design for Democracy Challenge. Let's get started. Remember Google Glass? I do. I remember walking down the streets in NYC being called a glass hole. Google has now reintroduced Glass into an Enterprise Edition that includes an application by an Israeli software company that embeds a smart assistant into each headset. That means that there is an AI system that can understand and respond to voice commands, either by displaying information on the glasses or responding out loud. Google has used the enterprise launch to position themselves to help workers manage their workload and do things like scan barcodes, prepare for projects, and look up recommendations without needing to drag a heavy laptop around with them. One of the things that's really interesting to me is the on-demand learning features like access training videos, images with annotated instructions, or quality assurance checks that help you get the job done safely and quickly and to a higher standard. For manufacturing, Glass intuitively fits into a workflow that helps you remain engaged and stay focused on high-value work by removing distractions. And one of the things that I really like about this use case is that it augments a worker's safety glasses for the factory floor. Think about it. I'm not just putting on a pair of glasses to augment my vision. What I'm doing is utilizing safety glasses that I would have already had to use. The Enterprise Edition offers OSHA certified safety shields on all the frames. And the reality is that those frames look like regular eyewear. So for someone who really concentrates a lot on eyewear, I've been watching the former division of 3M that's been manufacturing these special Enterprise Edition glasses. And if this actually catches on, I wouldn't be surprised if we didn't start to see frame vendors from Warby Parker to Ray-Ban develop their own versions. Up next, HomeCourt.Ai. You know, one of the things that I have noticed about any time I meet a great athlete is they have one thing in common. They have an insatiable and an unstoppable drive to improve their game. Being the best on the court comes from consistent high-energy skills practice. Well, now HomeCourt, which is available for iPhone, is an application that lets you count, chart, and track your shots, giving you real-time stats with nothing more than an iPhone. The free app offers users real-time feedback, complete with automatically spliced video and recording of every single shot that an athlete takes so they can check their form. And it does this for up to 300 shots a month. Any more than that, though, a user is prompted to pay for an $8 subscription. So if you're interested in improving your jump shot, just visit HomeCourt.Ai. How many of you have ever heard of DARPA? DARPA is the Defense Advanced Research Projects Agency. For 60 years, DARPA has held a singular and enduring mission: to make pivotal investments in breakthrough technologies for national security. The organization was actually created under President Eisenhower and is going into a really interesting new initiative called ERI, or also known as the Electronics Resurgence Initiative. This initiative actually works off a marketplace truth that hardware innovation has really taken a back seat over the last several years to software advances. And the reason they're doing that is because it bothers the US military for a number of reasons. If you start to think about all the hardware that we utilize, you start to begin to wonder whether or not we're heading to an end of an era. At the top of that end of an era list is a major concern that Moore's law is very quickly reaching its limits, and that alone could stymie future advances in electronics that the military relies on. So unless new architectures and designs can allow progress in chip performance to continue, military folks are really interested in understanding what is that next generation. So if you take a look at this initiative, what you'll see is that ERI's budget represents a 4-fold increase in DARPA's typical annual spending on hardware. The initial projects, which should be really interesting to those of us in both the private and public sectors of the Internet of Things, these projects reflect the initiative's 3 broad areas of focus. One of them happens to be chip design, the other one is chip architecture, and the third is materials and integration. So watch this space, because if we know one thing, is that one of the things that DARPA research does is very easily stands as a space for us to commercialize the uses and uses of that research. Sir Arthur C. Clarke's third law of prediction stated that any sufficient advanced technology is indistinguishable from magic. Built on that truth, Forbes once described General Magic as the most important dead company in Silicon Valley. That's why I couldn't be more excited to pick up a bucket of popcorn and some M&Ms and watch General Magic, the documentary, because it's going to feature members from the original Mac team, along with the creators of the iPhone, Android, and eBay. These designers, engineers, and entrepreneurs were able to see 20 years into the future, and most of them have become the biggest influencers in technology policy and business today. The General Magic documentary combines really cool, rare footage from the early days of General Magic with contemporary stories from the magicians. This is one of history's most talented technology teams, and I think that we could do them a big favor by learning from how they took the long view and actually made magic come to life for all of us. And finally, this weekend marked the 100 days before the U.S. midterm elections. Artists, technologists, and policymakers are calling for our public service and civic action to inspire the 46.9% of Americans who did not vote in the last election to vote on November 6th. The Design for Democracy Challenge is an open source design initiative that uses the hashtag DesignForDemocracy to post art and innovations that help register and get people to the polls. So here I am, challenging you to join me with passion and determination, like our democracy depends on it, for the next 99 days to fight voter apathy with a little bit of art. And that's a wrap for 5 Things This Week. Thanks so much for joining me. I look forward to hearing about what inspires you. Just post them on Twitter and tag me.